So this is the first take.
First of many. So, Marcin, welcome to the hot seat.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here with us today. As you know, I've contacted you because I admire your work. You've been working from, I don't know, fashion industry to the food industry nowadays. And in each of those spaces, you brought the digital changes, the digital transformation. What is it a common thread that you would say that you've been facing within those two different industries?
So it's all about customer at the end of the day, right? We all need to make sure that we make our customers happy, and customers bring profit and revenue to any organization. So it's all about understanding your customer, what your customer wants. So customer at the end of the day is becoming more demanding each day.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure.
Especially in Dubai.
Exactly. So the customer might change. So obviously it's different for fashion, different for grocery, where I work at the moment. But at the end of the day, it's a customer, and you need to make sure the customer is happy. So as long as you treat your customer, you understand them, you build the loyalty, you understand what creates the loyalty, then this is the most important thing when it comes to digital and when it comes to digital transformation. The second thing, which is super important, is not technology, as many people think, it's culture. Okay. So obviously it's very important to bring a change in organization, to create a culture which is ready for digital transformation, to make sure that you break silos between offline, online, and create kind of strong foundation for digital transformation. And then technology happens only next, as long as the foundation are being built.
Okay, so going back to the culture, like where would you say, like, or which one of the projects that you worked on in the past was the one that shaped the way you think about digital transformation nowadays? Because last time that we met for a coffee, I remember you talked to me about working at Lacoste, Under Shalhoub, Wafi Group, and many others. So which one do you think of this project was the one that shaped you the most?
I would say a couple of projects. So I was lucky enough to work with a good leadership from early in my career. Okay. I would say a couple of most impactful experiences were, so one in Poland, working for electronic goods, which was very impactful from the perspective of, it was very early of digital transformation. It was around 15 years ago. And Poland was the fastest growing digital economy in Europe. So this was the experience where I've learned that digital is like an art where creativity is rewarded. So, and sky's the limit. Especially at this stage, you could really do small hacks, small changes, making massive impact. So this shaped me in the way, showing me that there's so many things you can do, so many ways you can think out of the box and bring profit and revenue to the business. So this was a very interesting experience for me.
So, like for all of the listeners, what did you do specifically? Because I know the story, but I would love everyone to know about it. I think you brought influencer marketing. That is a concept that only nowadays exists. I remember when I was in university, like 8 years ago, and I studied marketing. We didn't even study about it. So it's something that I was so happy to hear. Like if you're talking about like 15 years ago in Poland, like you created a community around, so maybe you can tell us about it.
Sure. So I started working on the content. So I realized that in electronic goods, people want to get social proof. People search for product reviews. So I found that vendors and suppliers are willing to get sponsorship of the products, and there's plenty of students, content creators who want to get a product for free, write the review, improve their skills. So if you marry both of them, you create something which is great for your business, because you get product for free, you get funding from your suppliers, you get content, your SEO improves, and everyone is happy. So yeah, this is how I start working on an influencer network, and then it was self-funded, start creating revenue, benefited the business. So yeah.
A win-win situation for everyone, I would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time you switch between industries, like what is it that keeps you ahead of the curve? What do you do?
Yeah.
There must be a secret, because like we all want to know.
I'm not sure if there's a secret. I think going back to customer, right?
Okay.
It's very important to understand your customer, right? So many organizations, they look at customer from the perspective of acquisition rather than retention. Okay. And it's very important to acquire customer, but also make sure that you retain your customers. So this is one secret, let's call it. And the second one is numbers. The beauty of digital, the beauty of digital transformation and retail in general, everything can be quantified. So whatever you do when it comes to projection, business cases, it's all about numbers. There's a very interesting saying, it's not a saying, it's a quote which Peter Drucker said, whatever gets measured gets managed. And this is exactly how digital works for me. As long as you look after your customers, you look at your numbers adds up, then you create sustainable business.
You were talking about hybrid marketing earlier. What would you recommend to a business when it comes to that? Like, what should be the percentage that a business should invest in online or offline? Yeah,
I think that's interesting the way you ask, because what you just said about investing offline and online, you shouldn't be investing offline, online. You should be investing into your clients, into your customers, right? Okay. So you shouldn't really differentiate between different type of customers, because this is where the frictions are happening. So you need to consider your customer as a customer of a brand, but then offline and online. As we can see these days, many organizations still think offline, online, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if a customer buys online or offline, as long as he or she buys from you. And very often customers are becoming hybrids, so they purchase across different touch points. Sometimes they don't purchase, but they interact. So it's very important to look at hybrid customer, omni-channel customer, rather than investing purely offline and online. So when it comes to splits, it also depends on what phase of the business is at. So if you look at acquisition, or you look at awareness, or you look at the conversion, it obviously depends on maturity of your business.
To do that, I'm sure that there should be a lot of system in place, to get all of this data under one umbrella and have a 360 view of your customer. Yeah. What do you use nowadays, mainly?
So I've done two projects. So one project I've done for Kamalos Manjamjum, and one project I'm working on right now for Grandiose. Okay. So we are working on building a data warehouse. Okay. So taking the data from different inputs, deduplicating, cleaning the data, and then as a next step, teaching the business how to use the data. Okay. It was very important. And again, many people or many organizations, they sit on tons of data, but they cannot use this data because data is not clean, the data cannot be used. It was very important to make sure that the data which you use can be easily used and monetized. Yeah. And also, it's an investment. It's an investment into data, and it's an investment into being able to use the data. And it's an investment which doesn't bring direct return on investment, because only to get the return on investment, you need to start using the data. That's why many organizations, they don't want to invest time and money into the project of cleaning the data, mining your data, in order to get tangible outcomes in the future.
But a lot of companies are not using the data properly, right? Yeah. What would you recommend them to start, if they had to start today, into cleaning the data and removing all the duplicates and being able to put them all under one umbrella, let's say, and have a 360 view of the customer, either if they purchase online or offline, or if they called or they WhatsApp you. So what would you recommend them to start? Yeah,
to start, to map your data. What kind of data you get, from which data inputs. Then make sure the data flows to one system. This system should deduplicate and clean your data. Okay. And then you create a unified 360 view of your customer.
So now the AI is becoming part of the trend, 2025 trend, I would say. How is Grandiose using that nowadays? You know.
Okay. AI is a super interesting topic, and everyone keep talking about AI, as we all know, right? So the key thing with AI, which people forget or they don't want to think about, AI relies on data. So if there's no
good as your data.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
So how the way they say it, garbage in, garbage out, right? So if you don't have good data, then AI will not be efficient, and you will not be able to use AI. And secondly, AI is extremely expensive. So you need to be really smart how you use it tactically and strategically, rather than just throwing AI into your technical roadmap just to make everyone happy and make it look smart. So the way we use it at Grandiose, we use AI with purpose. So we always build business cases around it, and we try to fix a problem rather than doing AI for the sake of doing AI. So one of the business case which we've done recently, we launched AI recipes assistant on our app. So this is the solution which we built with Microsoft, which allows you to get recipes, get specific nutrition requirements, and propose product based on the recipe. And by one click, you can add to the basket and you can convert. So we build it based on the feedback which we receive from the customers, that they struggle to find all the recipes, all the products for particular, I don't know, you want to cook a keto cake, right? So you throw the idea into AI, and AI gives you all the products from Grandiose, one click, add to the basket, purchase. So this is what we built.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it's great. And also what we see, then the main outcome of that, we see 20% increase on conversion. We got massive awareness when it comes to media. 13 million plus of reach of articles about the solution. So this really benefiting the business, not just making us leaders or tech people shine. This is one of the implications, one of the applications, usage of AI, which we did. We also think about different case studies. So we are thinking about using AI for demand planning and demand forecasting for our supply chain. And also we are looking at, let's say, those less sexy way of using AI, which is how to make our staff use AI more effectively. So how marketing can use AI to get more creative ideas. How can we use AI inside our ecosystem to help you manage your emails, your communications, your drive, the files on a drive. So this part is more making efficient way of operating. Obviously, it's not something which we can talk on conferences because it doesn't make you shine, but it really makes a difference on day-to-day work.
No, 100%, and I feel like you guys are using it AI in the proper way, both operational and to help you with the customer experience. Most of the time, businesses either use it for customer experience or for internal operations. So you have both use cases. So I think that's fantastic. I wanted to ask you, what was the hardest challenge that you faced whilst working on a digital transformation project?
I would say the hardest was, I think always the hardest part is related to people and culture. And Lacoste Chaloupe case was interesting from the perspective that the business was operated for many years in very much retail way of running the business and offline. And when I stepped in and I started building.
When was that?
It was
10 years ago?
8 years ago, 7 years ago, around that time. So I built the digital platform. I started creating omni-channel features, kind of integrating the seamless experience for customers. And there was a big disconnect between offline and online. We had a daily discussions about my customer, your customer, and my revenue, your revenue. So it was very difficult to link those dots together, make sure that people work together. They have the same hybrid KPIs. The culture is changing towards customer of the brand rather than customer of stores or customer of online. So this was quite interesting and challenging case, but managed quite successfully, I would say.
Well done.
Thank you.
So what you're saying when you said people, I was thinking, is he referring to people as in the customer or to the team? So what you're saying is that the biggest challenge is usually the team that you work with, right? Your colleague and like the management and how you guys, depending on the team that you work with, maybe they've been working on the same software for many years and for them it's harder to adapt. Do you find it easier for customer on the other side to adapt to all of these changes? Like whenever you'll bring a new feature, or like I remember you were talking about at Lacoste, you were able to bring within the shop some screen. Do you think these changes were usually are taken better from the customer?
Yes, because what you build for customers is usually what customers needs and wants, right? So you don't go step ahead of, you go a step ahead of customers, anticipate what they might want, but you never go 2 steps ahead to direct the way they should interact with your brand. So this is always, so digital transformation always follow customers and follow the market trends. When it comes to culture, it's more difficult because obviously people are resistant to change, people don't want to change, and people always see a change as a threat. So you need to make sure that what you build works for them. Everyone is selfish at the end of the day. Everyone wants to see something for themselves. So you need to make sure whatever you build works for your colleagues, works for your team, works for your staff. Management is in line, and everyone understands why we're doing what we're doing.
And that I would say is the hardest part then.
Yes, definitely.
If you would recommend to someone that is starting today, like a young CTO, young entrepreneur, to a recommendation for the digital transformation, what would it be? Where should they start? What step they should take, and what they should avoid the most?
Again, I'm kind of going to echo what I said before. Frequently, people think that it's all about technology, but it's not about technology. It's all about people. So you need to be good with people. You need to be a good leader. You need to know how to bring a change and how to envision the change. And then only after this is done, created and structured, you bring technology. And the way you're supposed to bring technology is in line with your progress. So the technology kind of brings, it's like a bridge between people and the outcome, not technology itself. It's as important as the purpose which it serves.
So if you could redesign a full customer experience from scratch, how would you do it differently now rather than 5 years ago?
I wouldn't make it much different because again, digital transformation, omni-channel journey follow customers. So what's right now was not right 5 years ago. So if you want to, you cannot fast track what's going to happen in the future. So I would, 2 things which I would have done maybe slightly differently. When it comes to investments, I would focus more on data. And I would focus more on retention. So making sure that your customers, you understand your customers and you retain your customers successfully.
The most expensive part when it comes to marketing is not actually lead generation, but is mostly like retaining the customer. How do you guys do that nowadays at Grandiose?
Okay. So yes, you're right. I mean, it's, I think it was mentioned in 1980s already in Harvard Business Review that it's a couple of times more expensive to acquire than to retain. And this is true. So what we try to do, we acquire customers. We always analyze why customers are dropping, why customers are not purchasing again, and we try to fix those challenges. So we implement RFM campaigns, recency, monetization, frequency. We always get all the research and surveys about customers, what they want, what they didn't find, why they went somewhere else, and we try to act on the feedback which we get. So when it comes to acquisition, it's very important also what we do. We look at customer lifetime value. We don't just look at cost of acquisition. And this is big game changer. So I've done a big change of acquisition for the Body Shop in Turkey and Russia. where I work for Alshaya, where we completely changed the way we analyzed the cost of acquisition. Rather than looking at purely how much it costs you to acquire a customer, we look at how much revenue this customer is going to bring to you in a 12 months. This is a big game changer, because you can see that sometimes the cost might be higher than your margin, but actually if you retain this customer, if you look all the journeys, all the CRM journeys, product related, action related, then this customer is going to be paid back in 6, 7 or 8 months.
Wow, that's fantastic. And yeah, you're right, like most of the time, whenever we feel like welcome or understood or like not spammed from most of this company, we tend to go back. Exactly. People tend to go back to where they feel comfortable. So like, I want to ask you, what could be one word for you to describe your leadership style?
I would say passion. I think I haven't lost my passion for what I do for many years, and it's very important. You need to really spread the passion with the teams you work, the management. So I would say lead by the example and show your passion.
But how do you stay motivated and passionate all the time? Must be...
Yeah, so again, it's about being able to quantify what you do and seeing the results of your work.
Okay.
So whatever we do when it comes to tech projects or when it comes to e-commerce, obviously we see the results of our work, and this motivates me. If I work on a project and I see this project is getting payback.
Or if it doesn't pay back.
If it doesn't.
It could happen, right? It happens to everyone.
Of course, but it's a lesson learned.
Okay.
And there's always some benefits which you can find.
Yeah, something to learn out of it.
Yes.
The most underrated skills for digital leaders today?
I would go back to people, so soft skills and purely day-to-day management skills, leadership skills.
Emotional intelligence and...
Exactly. Okay. So being able to work with the team, being able to elaborate why we do things, being able to show the plan and make sure that everyone is on board with the change.
And patience, a lot of patience. That always helps. The biggest misconception about innovation?
Innovation doesn't equal technology.
Okay.
Not always. So you can innovate in many different ways. Sometimes it's innovating in the way you think, in the way you act on a daily basis. You don't need to necessarily bring a massive change to innovate. So innovation can be much smaller than people think.
It's all about the creativity behind. And what's your star sign? It doesn't have anything to do with this, but I'm interested. Are you a Pisces? No.
I'm Capricorn. This is
okay. Yeah. Capricorn. Wow. Hard worker. Save a lot of money as well. So this is not part of this, but whatever. And if you weren't doing what you do now, okay, what would you be doing? It could be anything.
If I was not doing what I do professionally,
yeah,
I'll be a professional athlete.
Okay, tell me about it.
So I love sport. I love dedication. I love kind of pushing boundaries of what I do. So yeah, I would definitely be a professional athlete. I spent many years of my life doing martial arts, and now I do fitness, running. I'm a freediving coach and instructor. So yeah, I'll be doing something around sport. Something
like that. How would you bring innovation into the athlete world?
I think so. People go into a very narrow way of thinking when it comes to sports. And with my mix of experience from freediving, from martial arts, so endurance, etc., it's all about bringing things together. So breath from freediving to sport and training. When it comes to fitness, strength, when it comes to yoga, strength, flexibility, kind of bringing all together and looking holistically at
like a hybrid way of training.
Exactly.
Okay. It's becoming really popular nowadays.
It is, but it's still at very early stages.
Yeah, of course, because it takes a lot of time, especially. So Marcin, how do you keep yourself motivated?
So for me, it's very important, especially if you work hard, especially if your daily work is very busy. So for me, it's important to see the results of my work. So that's why as I mentioned before, I like to measure my performance, and in digital we can do that. So projects, you can always measure your milestones, you can always manage the outcomes of what you do. On a daily basis, obviously you can measure the impact on the business through revenue, through profits and bottom line in your P&L. So it's very important to measure my performance and performance of my team. So this is how I keep myself motivated.
Yeah.
And also for me, it's very important to stay active. Staying active, doing sports, doing my outside of the work passions, are also bringing motivation to my office life.
Does this affect your, I would say, stress level? Like for me personally, when I used to wear Whoop all the time,
Yeah.
I would wake up and I see this 30% recovery. I would freak out a little bit. Or like, let's say, I remember one day was crazy. I think, when I was training for triathlon, I did the swim and the run, like swim in the morning and a run in the afternoon, or vice versa, I don't remember. And my Whoop said that you're at 40% of your performance. And I'm like, I just killed myself, like, plus I worked the whole day. So I was like, come on, I cannot go and train again, but then I pushed myself to go and do another training session. So that really doesn't feel like right to me. Whilst nowadays what I tend to do is just like listen to my body a bit more and just go with the flow. I know it doesn't work when it comes to best performance or like data. I don't really know what my data is showing right now, but I just go with like, what do you think about it? Like, it helps in manage my stress at least, like. So
for me, it's opposite, because I'm overperformer. So for me, it's like last Saturday, I went running in the morning, I did half marathon. In the evening, I did a workout in the gym. I reached 20 strain on my Whoop. 21 is the maximum. And for me, it was like, okay, Whoop, bring it on. Can I push harder? And the next day, when Whoop tells you you're still recovering, for me, it's kind of, okay, let's see if I'm still recovering. And again, trying to push. So for me, it's kind of like this love and hate relationship with Whoop,
Okay.
It's like showing my Whoop that I can do more, and showing also myself that my body is capable more than actually what Whoop tells me. So, yeah.
So in this relationship that you have with your Whoop, I'm sure you have it at work as well.
Yes.
In everything that you do.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's related to personality and, yeah.
Like a super ambitious, driven, overachiever. Is there any moment that you feel like you're gonna step back and relax?
Definitely. There is a moment like that.
It's important, like, to step back,
Yes.
like rest.
I think it's more important to manage your days. At least for me, it's very important to manage my days. And obviously, working for corporation, you don't really manage your day. You follow a certain pattern. You need to be at the office. So for me, retirement, as you said, is more about deciding how I use my 24 hours, my time, rather than being stuck to certain ways of doing things.
Okay, I see that. How do you handle burnout? Or do you ever experience, by the way, burnout? And if yes, how do you handle that?
I did experience a severe burnout. And I was attending coaching sessions. It was very difficult. But I think I've relearned approach to my professional life, relationship with my professional life. And I still use my journal in the moments where I'm getting close to burnouts. So I think it's very important to understand and have this healthy approach, even though I wouldn't say my approach is healthy, but I'm aware about it. So very often I'm aware about it. I know when I need to change things the way I do in order not to go this route again. Okay.
So journaling helps you understand where you are at.
It does help me. Sport helps me a lot. And what I do very often, I think what I would recommend my best friends, if I have decision and this really helps me kind of take a step back and think what can really be good for me, rather than thinking with my head or with my heart.
Okay, beautiful. Is there anything you wish you knew before you're 30?
Maybe sometimes takes things less seriously. Slow down, and life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So yeah, I'm still learning that. I know that, but I'm still learning to apply it.
Okay, yeah, I'm learning that too, to be honest. And Dubai, I feel like it's such a fast paced city. Like everyone is doing like hundreds of things within a day, you know, like when I see, even on social media, you know, like we're all addicted to that. I see people live, or like a day in my life, they do 550 things. Then when I speak to my friend in Europe, they're like, yeah, today I just went for a coffee. That's it. And I'm like, I wish I did that too, you know. It was a pleasure to have you here with us today. We always ask last question to all the guests that we have here is like, who would you like to see in the podcast next?
So I would like to see someone from Kita. I think this is how you pronounce the business, Kita. A reason why I would like to understand the strategy and approach to break even and profit management for such businesses entering such a competitive market.
Me too. I would love to see you guys. This is like a shout out. Honestly, I can't wait to have them on board. So is there anything you would recommend to the younger generation? Let's put it this way. That want to become like you. They look up to you. Like, you know, there are so many people out there that look at you and feel like, wow, I would love to be able to work for all of these big corporations and be part of the digital transformation and so and so. So what is your advice on that?
Be persistent. Don't give up. Work hard. Try to learn as much as you can. And yeah, envision your life. Envision your life. I just give you an example. When I was writing dissertation at my university, so I read one book by the author from States, which I got really inspired. And
which one?
It's 300 million people in one room.
Okay.
I might be just making a mistake when it comes to the title, but it was about social media, a social media book. And I put myself as an objective to involve the author of this book into my dissertation. And I kept contacting her through all possible channels, you know, and at some point, I think she was so fed up with me that she responded. And we became friends. What
did she reply? Stop contacting me, or?
No, she didn't. She was not responding, but we became Facebook friends.
Okay.
And she's like well-known author, and she helped me with my dissertation. So I think this approach is very important. Don't give up, keep pushing, and keep trying.
Yeah, I agree. This is my motto actually in life. Don't give up, ever. I keep going, keep trying. That's the best advice that a person actually could hear, especially when they're young. And to don't be afraid, I would say, of trying. Yeah.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for joining us at the hot seat. I would say this was a super inspiring session, and I hope everyone understood that innovation is not just about technology, but it's about also being creative and thinking smarter, like you did multiple times in your career. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was nice to have you with us.
Thank you, my pleasure.